Bully, I do want to start with Jey Uso because we've been on this journey with Jey Uso. We've seen Jey Uso come up, Bully, when, the Dudleys came back. They worked a lot with the Usos early on, a decade ago. And then we see the Usos become one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history, main eventing WrestleMania. But we saw a division with this bloodline story. Jey Uso going out on himself, by himself, and the fans being attracted to Jey Uso, the fans clinging to Jey Uso and his story. Jey Uso wins the Rumble. Jey Uso gets that acknowledgement from John Cena after he wins the Rumble. And then an emotional, I don't even want to say promo, but just the emotions coming out of the crowd and the emotions coming out of Jey Uso last night where, hey, I took a chance, it's worked out, and I come out the victor. Very emotional way to start Monday Night Raw last night.
There's a term in wrestling that we use a lot. It gets thrown around. And I don't think people truly understand the real definition of it. They mistake what this word actually means. The word is over. And Dave, as a wrestling fan, what is your definition of the word over?
When the fans get the moment where the fans fall in love with you.
Over is popular. Over means how popular you are and to what degree. But when we say that somebody is over, we take popular to the next level. It goes beyond popular. It's like a popular person who can draw money. That person is over. Okay, I don't care if somebody gets a lot of cheers, that's great. But unless you can generate those cheers into money, you're not that over. Jey Uso is over. Now, I know I'm not, splitting the atom when I say that. But last night was very, very special, and the goosebumps are starting already. And I got taken back to one of my own personal moments watching him, and I was like, this is what I talk about when it comes to real emotion, raw emotion. What you saw with Jey Uso in the ring is what I wish we could bottle in professional wrestling and hand it out to each wrestler so they could find that kind of emotion. I genuinely believe, unless Jey Uso is unless he's one of the absolute best sellers and manipulators, that Jey Uso got taken over by the moment last night. Remember how I talked about the Rumble 15 when I blacked out because I got hit by that wall of sound and I had never heard such a pop like that in my life? I think that happened to Jey Uso last night. It would be virtually impossible if you start in the concourse where Jey starts walking, right? You got all the fans behind you. You're getting pumped up right before Raw goes on the air, right? Yep. Now Raw's on the air. You got all the people behind you. Now you're raring to go. Your energy levels up. Now you go through the concourse. You enter that arena. You saw the reaction of that crowd when he's walking down the stairs, when he gets into the arena, when he's standing on the ropes, when he's saying hello to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, blah, blah, blah. All of that time, all of that energy, that massive adrenaline rush, I think overtook him last night in the ring. When we see Jey Uso come into that ring and he's just standing there, there's about 30, 45 seconds, a minute where he's just staring like a deer in the headlights into the hard camera, where he's not saying a word. And I'm saying to myself, he forgot what he wants to say. I believe he completely blacked out from the raw emotion, from the adrenaline. And then when he eventually started to talk, it didn't sound even remotely like a promo. He was just kind of spouting off whatever came to the top of his head. And when you see somebody's eyes well up the way he did, and just a little bit of a tear in his eye, that was as real as it gets. Because everything that he was saying was true. You're a tag team guy. You're not supposed to be in this spot. Everything that him and his brother had been through coming up as a tag team. Wanting to make his dad proud. Wanting to make his family proud. Doing something that it's very difficult to do as a tag team wrestler in the WWE. That was so raw and so real that you had no choice but to buy into it. There's nothing scripted, pro wrestling, sports entertainment about that. That's some dude who's standing in the middle of the ring telling you how he felt. And that's why the people love him so much.
It reminded me of something you said in the build to WrestleMania 40 with Cody, where you're like, all right, Cody's crying, but he's not crying. It doesn't come across genuine because where's the tears? You know, you mentioned that. He's got the facial, he's got the voice, but where are the tears? You saw the tears rolling down Jay's cheek last night. And even more than the tears was, as you said, his voice. Like you hear him getting choked up. Like somebody who is trying to talk and fight back the tears. That was Jey Uso last night. And you can't get any more real and genuine than that, Bully. And those are the moments that are going to, as you said, get you over with the fans and have them fall in love with you. If the WWE Universe hadn't already fallen in love with Jey Uso already, they fell in love with him last night.
They should start every show moving forward with Jey Uso. The energy that was in that building during Jey Uso's entrance was the same energy I have felt many a times when Kiss hits that first opening note and first chords of Detroit Rock City. That place was on its feet at the top of its lungs in unison for Jey Uso. Imagine every Monday Night Raw started off with that level of energy. And because this is so new, every city that the WWE goes to will want to be as loud as the city before it. Now, I know it's a little difficult to start every show in pro wrestling with the same guy and the same thing, but is it that difficult?
It's not.
If you come up with some good creative stuff, there's no reason why you can't. You know what works. This works. You got something here. I don't know where SmackDown is going to be this Friday, wherever it is. Have Jey Uso come out first. Have that same energy, that same emotion, that same vibe, that same feel happening on Friday night.
Last year, going into WrestleMania 40, it was the Cody story. Can Cody finish the story? And I'm like, how can they repeat this? How can they create a buzz like they did with Cody, gain momentum, and go into WrestleMania 41 with the same feel that WrestleMania 40 was able to do? Not only has the WWE been able to duplicate that, they've been able to duplicate that with two wrestlers. And maybe even take it to a next level, especially with Jey Uso. Right now, Bully, they have Jey Uso and CM Punk that the fans are behind and want to see in a big spot at WrestleMania. Jey Uso after last night might even be more popular than CM Punk because the conversation has always been, you know, the two most popular wrestlers in the WWE. I said it many times on this show. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. I think now you have to throw Jey Uso in there. They have three huge names that the fans would run through a wall for. And the number one on the list, I think right now, is Jey Uso. You're talking about having Jey Uso start every show to start the show on the right foot. Well, you're only doing that with somebody, I think right now, who's more popular than Cody Rhodes? It's Jey Uso. Who's more popular than CM Punk? It's Jey Uso. Jey Uso right now is the number one guy in the WWE.
During the Attitude Era, the majority of the time, who started the show off?
Stone Cold.
Why?
Because that's who they bought a ticket to come see was Stone Cold.
Glass shatters Out comes Steve. You can't get the people any higher than that. What a way to come out of the box. And what a way to start every Raw on Netflix moving forward, going into WrestleMania season. Jey Uso. 2 weeks out of a month or whatever it is moving forward. That's the kind of energy that translates to an audience. Like, I mean, the WWE is selling out every place they go. So it's hard to get a ticket out of it as it is. But last night, watching the opening of Raw, I'm saying to myself, wow, I wish I was in that building to feel that. The same way I wanted to be in the middle of Lucas Oil Stadium for Charlotte's entrance to feel it, I wish I could have felt what was in there. And for me to make that comparison, Dave, is a big deal. To compare Jey Uso's entrance to Detroit Rock City from Kiss. And because that's how prominently it came through my screen. How it translated on the screen and in the speakers and in my brains and in my ears. If I'm the WWE, I'm seriously considering having Jey open my shows. And also, it sets an incredible tone for the locker room. Go out there and follow that. Step up your game. Keep those people moving.
And it's funny how you're saying starting off the night right. You know, we talked about it yesterday, and I gave kind of like my predictions of what I think we're going to see at WrestleMania. And I asked you and I asked Mark, like, all right, if these are the matches we see at WrestleMania, what's going to main event WrestleMania? You know, Punk and Cena would main event WrestleMania if that's the match. You know, if we get a triple threat with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, that would main event WrestleMania. I got to tell you, after what I saw last night, Bully, Gunther and Jey Uso needs to main event one of the nights of wrestling. It needs to be the last match because I'm telling you right now, if Jey Uso beats Gunther and wins that World Heavyweight Championship, that's a WrestleMania moment. That's the way you fit. That's your rock and roll all night to finish off the show. I can't think of a better way to finish WrestleMania than Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
Just out of curiosity, because this is so new to Jey Uso, just like it was new to Cody at 39. What if they beat Jey Uso at 41?
Ooh. Looking back at it, Bully, with Cody, you and Mark, the night or the morning after WrestleMania 39, when you guys are like, it wasn't the right time. You needed to wait another year to convince everybody. Looking back at it, you guys are 100% right. It made WrestleMania 40 that much sweeter. I can't imagine being any higher than the way Jey Uso is right now. Like, this is where, you know, like you talked about Joe Hendry. Like, I believe if you don't pull the trigger at WrestleMania 41, you're taking a considerable chance by not having that moment to finish WrestleMania.
Who do you believe was hotter, Jey Uso last night or Cody the night after he won the Rumble?
Jey Uso last night.
And this is why I agree with you. Jey Uso has to win at WrestleMania. He is what we call white hot in pro wrestling. White hot is beyond hot. There's heat and there's white heat. He's white hot. White hot is for a babyface. White heat is for a heel. He's white hot. I think that people would be so disappointed because not only are you taking away the victory, you're taking away the rematch victory, and you're taking away the fun of 70,000 people yeeting in unison in Vegas. People are going to buy a ticket to WrestleMania. Listen, you're buying a ticket to WrestleMania, but I'll go out on a limb here. There's people buying a ticket to be in that building to see Jey Uso win the World Championship.
If you said right now, and let's just use that as an example, night number one was Jey Uso Gunther. That's your main event. You're going to see 70,000 fans with blue Yeet shirts on. Like it is going to just be a sea of Jey Uso fans wearing those Yeets. And it could be, and listen, could be night number 1, could be night number 2. Whatever your decision is to have that be the last match, everybody's going to be prepared for him. And if you don't give him that moment, there could be a considerable backlash if he does not get that moment.
With Cody, I completely disagreed with you.
Yes.
Because there was a story to carry. There was enough meat to carry them another year. It's not the right time. You got to let Cody continue to move. You got to tell more of the story. You got to have him fight. Jey Uso's been fighting his whole career in the WWE. Whether that was in a tag team with his brother, the Bloodline, he was a focal point in the Bloodline with Roman. There are many that say, and if you go back and you look at the Bloodline story, that it's just as much as the Jey Uso story as it is the Roman Reigns story. Now you got to pay it off. There's a reason why they paid it off at the Rumble. And if you paid it off at the Rumble just to beat him at Mania, I wouldn't understand that mentality. Now, I will say this. If he wins at Mania, you're then in that then what? Then what situation? Is he the type of champion that you will pay to see retain? And I don't necessarily know if you even need that, because the WWE is so hot right now that I think they're coming to see the whole show. They're not coming to see any one particular person retain. So that would be my issue. Now, if you had somebody from the Bloodline chasing Jey Uso, a Solo, a Jacob Fatu, even Roman, like there's good story left there. So I'm as on board with Jey winning the championship at WrestleMania as whatever the plan is afterwards.
I really think, and listen, we've been down this road before, right? Bryan Danielson would probably be the first one that comes to mind, where organically everybody got behind Bryan Danielson. They brought back Batista to be in that WrestleMania moment. The fans completely rejected Batista because they wanted Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson wins the championship at WrestleMania 30 and then fizzled out. And then the next year's WrestleMania, he's in the opening match for the Intercontinental Championship in the ladder match. That's not Jey Uso. And you know why I know, Bully? Because of last night. When you show the audience that other side, that human side, then they feel that they're a part of the story as well. And he just played it perfectly. You know why he played it perfectly? Because he was being himself. The WWE is in such a great position, because I'm just looking at night number 2, the ultimate main event. The ultimate main event could be 5 different matches, and the fans would be the fans would be perfectly happy with Jey Uso Gunther being the last match at WrestleMania, or Cody Cena, or that triple threat we talked. The WWE, as you said, is so white hot right now, but they're white hot for a reason. They played the last 3 years as perfectly as you can play it. They really have. And this is what the outcome is. Sold out shows the Rumble. Bully was sold out in a stadium. Over 70,000 fans for the Rumble. This is the reason why. Because of the superstars that they have given you over the last 3 years, the stories they have given you the last 3 years, the emotion they have given you the last 3 years. Bully, you preach it all the time. Take your 5-star matches and shove them up your ass. It means dick. It means absolutely dick. You know what means everything? Jey Uso in that ring last night to start off Monday Night Raw. That is bigger and better than any fuck you match that you can put in the ring on a show. That is the reason that we love pro wrestling, is what Jey Uso was able to do and connect with that audience last night on Monday Night Raw.